So I had some clients recently that struggled for years to put together a property deposit, and they changed one simple thing and smashed it really quickly, ended up buying their first property in less than 12 months. I thought this one was worth sharing. So when you're saving a property deposit, it does seem like a really big deal, and it is a really big deal. For most people, it's in the tens of thousands of dollars. For these guys, it was over 100K, and it just seemed like a mammoth undertaking. It's like if you're trying to lose a heap of weight or go from really unfit to super fit. The progress that you need to make, the distance that you need to cover just seems so massive, and it can seem overwhelming. Because you feel like you've got so much work to do, it can seem like if you just don't do it today, it's not gonna make that much difference anyway, so it's easy to not. Now for these clients, they had a pretty strong savings capacity, and realistically, they could have got their deposit together in a fairly short amount of time, but because the difference between how much they had in savings and how much they needed to have in savings was so big, it just seemed too large. Now, the shift that we made for them was a super simple one, but a super powerful one as well. We simply broke down the bigger target for the property deposit into shorter term goals. And literally we started by doing this weekly, by saying how much money needed to be saved in the next week for them to be on track. Now, because their target was so short term and so much smaller, they found it a lot easier to put in the work to get there. They know that they only needed to wait 7 days to hit the milestone and move on to the next piece, and they crushed it. After shortening up the timeline, we then showed them exactly how many weeks it was going to take for them to put their property deposit together. And then that way, when they hit their target every week, they could literally cross one off. They knew they were 1 week closer. It also shifted the thinking so that when they were falling short, it wasn't just that they were spending things or they weren't putting the money into the savings account. They literally had to push out their target by an extra week, and that shift of thinking can be a huge help. Like I said, it's a small shift, but it has a massive impact. Now, for these guys, this was for saving, but it also works for investing, debt reduction, or whatever your targets are. So whatever it is for you, make your targets as short term as possible, as small as possible, and you're going to be much more likely to crush them faster.